Farm for Profit Podcast. Take a listen, have a blast. Farm for Profit Podcast. Learn about farming while having a laugh. Farm for Profit Podcast.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Farm for Profit Podcast. This is Tanner.
Oh, this is Rachel.
Oh, my gosh.
Move your mic up. And this is Corey.
Is it good?
Do we need to redo the intro, Rachel? Like, you've been a part of the team for over a year now, and I felt like you'd have jumped on that a little bit faster.
Well, no.
We did kind of throw this on her.
They
she
did,
was
like
not
2
planning
minutes
to be
ago.
in this episode, but this is what she's been focused on the whole time out here at in Grand Island. So we felt that she was qualified to bring up some questions.
Yeah, she's kind of the reason we're even doing this episode. Like, there's a lot of consideration that in the last 48 hours has really brought this to the top of the attention list.
Yep.
And she's like our number 10 biggest fan. So
I don't even know.
You don't think so?
But everywhere we've been, she wants to go in. She wants to go in every building, farm shop building that we go, like at all these shows, and get stuff because she wants to build a barndominium or shouse or whatever you call it. And we've always said, well, Sukup has those, but they quit making them for a while. But they're back.
They're back.
They're back. So
And
that's
I'm
what we're
so
talking
excited.
today.
Well, I do think it is funny, though, because she has, she's gone into a lot of these different booth spaces, but the only brochure that she carries around is the Sukup one.
Because they have very nice colors, which we'll get into later.
And every night this week, before we introduce our guest, every night this week, she has been designing her shouse now on some free program that she
Yeah,
has on the
some
computer.
free floorplancreator.com, I think is what it is. It's free. I can't say that it works very well, but it does get the gist down.
But I feel like your education in just the 3 days we've been here is tremendous. Now.
Yes.
You've learned a lot.
I learned what 5 feet by 5 feet looks like because I thought that was going to work for my walk-in closet. It's
No.
absolutely not going to work.
That won't even hold your Farm for Profit shirts, let alone the rest of your clothes.
Yeah, it's not even a bathroom. They can't even have a half bath.
I
Yeah.
know. And then we were going over like window sizes and door sizes. And I
Yep.
just, you don't really think about those things in your daily life when you're walking through them, like how wide it is or
Yep.
how tall it is. And
Yep.
so,
But today we're not going to focus on only shouses. These steel buildings can be used for a lot of different things. That's why we have our expert with us. And friend and fan.
Yes, and
probably,
fan. And
probably
fan.
top 10 fan. If you're outside the top 10, Rachel, Randy's definitely inside the top 10. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me, guys. I certainly appreciate this.
You
do,
are.
Do you, or are you just set up
No.
to take like, what do they call that, a glutton for punishment?
No, anytime I can get up here and talk to you guys is always a thrill, right? It's always fun. We make it fun.
Yep.
Hopefully the listeners out there
Yep.
think we're having fun too. But
I do want to commend you because you are probably the best person at Sukup for wanting to get on. Like a lot of people are pretty humble, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You were in the beginning, but we've done it enough with you. We've almost got you trained that like you want to do it. So
yeah,
it's
no,
fun.
It is fun. It's fun, and you guys bring up some really good points. And even if I'm not on them, when I listen to your guys' podcast, there's
Yep.
a lot of good material out there for even not farmers, right? But education to anybody that's interested in agriculture. So great job, guys.
Meet Maya Cornheads, built better for over 40 years to power through down corn, high yields, and tough fields without flinching.
These durable, low-maintenance heads mean less downtime, less grain loss, and more profit per acre. They have the option for down corn attachments or direct-driven chopping. They ensure that your combine will move smoothly, fast, and full at all times.
Don't just harvest your fields, conquer them. Visit mayacornheads.com to find the dealer near you.
For those who haven't heard you on here before, what do you do for Sukup?
So my name's Randy Marcks. I'm the material handling sales director. So I'm not 100% involved in steel buildings, but it is something we are bringing back, as you just stated, and we will be getting back into the steel buildings. We've got some other guys in the office that work with them, but some of my background, I've got some background in construction and have built some of the steel buildings, so I bring a lot to the table when you start talking about steel buildings. I can talk pretty good and knowledgeable about what we've got to offer for our steel building line.
Yep. So you guys have a similar setup so we're at Husker Harvest Days here in Grand Island. You got one in Boone, Iowa for Farm Progress. You got one down in Decatur for Farm Progress. And the last 3 or 4 years, we've been in the buildings and people come in and ask about them, and we've
Yeah.
had to say
A lot.
they don't really sell them anymore.
Yeah, and it's been hard to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's been really tough to do that because it's a permanent structure on the site, and when people walk into it and look around and then said, hey, can I get one of these, and be like, we're not really sure. We're really on a pause right now, and it's great to be in that position where we can say, yes, we can maybe help you out with something, especially if they're looking at something on their farm. I mean, ag buildings, that's really what our focus is going to be on. We want a complete package when we get on that farm. Not only the grain bins and the legs and the dryers, all Sukup Manufacturing, but so are the buildings.
Yep.
And they're steel buildings. We're not talking about post frame.
That's right. They're completely steel frame buildings. So I'm from a farm too. We've got a lot of pole buildings up, and it's always interesting when you go out and you start seeing cracks in your concrete, and you see varmints digging holes underneath them and tunneling underneath your concrete building. When you got a steel building like Sukups have here, you don't have any of those issues, right? That's all gone. There's no way rodents are going to get in and get into my seed corn that I'm going to try and plant, because they can do a number on that real quick.
Yeah, normally I don't have a problem with like mice and rats. This year I had raccoons.
Oh.
Because we leave the doors open, some nights, and they just get in there and they open one bag like from the middle, and they say, I don't like that one, so they'll open another one, and start talking $400 seed corn bags. Like, I'm getting the traps out.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yep.
So the difference between a pole building or a post frame building and steel, is it just strength, or what are some of those key differences?
It is. I mean, a steel building is going to be an engineered steel building, so it's engineered to the codes in that area, right? So the wind loads, the snow loads, same things we're looking at when we're doing towers, bins, bucket elevators. We're designing those for the codes for that area. So when you start looking at, the derecho came by, I think, Corey, you were probably right in the middle of that.
I was.
There was a lot of wood frame buildings that ended up on the ground. And then you looked at some of these steel buildings that were up, and they were still standing. There might be some damage to the sheet steel, but they were still there, so they're repairable. So that actually really flooded Sukup Manufacturing at the time with interest in the steel buildings. Now, they do come at a little bit of a premium cost, right? Wood versus steel. Right. There's going to be a little bit more cost involved with the steel, but longevity-wise, strength-wise, it's going to be there generational. It's
so
not
maybe cost up front, but probably cheaper in the end.
In the end, correct. Yep. It's a generational building. You're not going to build it and it's going to be garbage in 20, 30 years and not usable. It's going to still be just as good as it was the day you built it.
Right.
So that strength also allows you to do different things with the interior.
Correct.
We can have larger buildings.
You can go a lot longer or wider free span with your building. We can go up to 200-foot clear span. It's pretty hard to do that. I mean, the rafters and things get a little large when we do that. We've actually got one at our plant at Sukup Manufacturing where we do some free span where we're putting trucks in bays and loading trucks to kind of keep the pillars and things out of the way. But they're 6-7 foot tall beams up there that are holding that roof up. So you can do some things, but our engineering team's going to definitely tell you where your max is. So it's not everybody's going to be able to do 200 foot, right? I mean, you get into some pretty heavy snow loads and you might have to, shorten that up by, few 20, 30, 40 feet, right? So, but it is, they are a lot more durable. And with the options that we have, especially the purlins and girts that are galvanized inside our steel buildings. We can do a gray primer on the structural steel. And when you put lights inside of that, that all reflects a lot better than, just some wood or, other forms of finishing off a building. It just brightens it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Rachel, if you're listening, you could have a 200 by whatever dimension you wanted house.
I'm going to have to change my floor plan.
Were you not planning that big?
I don't think I
You
was.
could definitely have it bigger than a 5x5 closet.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's handy because before we got on the mics, we were talking about our family operation would potentially be looking at a solution like this for a commodity shed.
Yeah.
The commodity shed that burnt down had poles in the middle of it to support the rafters going across, and you're running a payloader in and out of there hundreds of times a day, different commodities loading your feed wagon, to where if we got nothing in the way,
Yeah.
that might even speed us up.
Right.
Baby boss wouldn't be running into all the pillars.
We're knocking things over.
Is that you?
No.
No, his name you can't say on air. But it is funny because they still call him it. And he's not a banker anymore. They say something banker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not putting two and two together.
My,
but I'm gonna have to ask
you
about it
will
later.
ask me
My
about it later.
nephew in high school is the baby boss.
Oh.
He thinks he knows everything, but
Hey.
not quite. Yeah. So us as farmers love shops, right? That's one of our pastimes, right? That's one of the we like a good bin site, and then we pride ourselves on our shop, right?
Yep.
And this is something that we need to start doing tours of people's shops, because I love watching how and there's some content that has done that, but it is so cool going to visit different shops, because everyone's got their different vision for designing, where they want to set up stuff, where they got their tools, where they got a loft and all that. So like, maybe we could do that with Sukup now that we're back up and running.
Instead of like parade of homes, it's parade of shops.
Yeah, it's like what was the exhibit thing?
I
Like
don't know. They were talking about some thing in Des Moines where
cribs.
you go to all
MTV
the
cribs.
Oh.
Yeah,
that
you're
would
talking
work
the
too.
home and garden show.
Yes,
Yeah.
the home and garden
No,
show.
we could do MTV cribs of welcome to my shop, and exhibit
Yeah.
comes out with a big gold chain on, and
You might have to cut that and start doing it. And
I-
not tell anybody.
I think we could, yes.
I'm not sure we're going to find the gold chains
No,
in the
not
target
right now.
market of farm shops,
Yeah.
right? So
maybe a nice John Deere tractor.
I think
There you
something
go,
like
there you
that.
go.
I think it'd be, if it was just a regular log chain.
right.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
By the time that you're done with halfway through the show, you can't stand up anymore because how heavy the log chain is.
So why did Sukup stop? When did they stop?
Well, Sukup's kind of stopped, and it was more of a business decision that there was a real demand for our bins and our products that we weren't able to meet the needs for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So we put them on pause, trying to, take our time at getting the products, the core business products with the bins and
Yeah.
the material handling and the dryers out. So it was just timing, right? It was trying to get what people's needs were out the door, and with a limited labor force that you had, one thing had to give, and we just paused the buildings and thought, hey, that's not the center point of the business, right?
Yeah.
That's more of it's nice to have the shop when you're on the farm, but the rest of the components, it takes all of them to run, a legitimate farm site. You've got to have a way to receive the grain, you got to have a way to dry the grain, you got a place to store it, right?
Yeah.
So the farm shop was kind of the thing that was the odd man out, we'll say, and we just paused them. But really excited about being able to get back in them right now. It's a great opportunity for people to get a full Sukup site, right, and one-stop shop.
I think it's a testament to Sukup too, because that's a tough decision to stop something that people like, knowing that your core business needs it.
Right.
It's a testament to quality, right? Because they knew they were going to be spread too thin if they didn't do that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right, Corey, and we didn't want to suffer on that core business side to put those resources and then not maybe give somebody the best product that we could have on the other side, right? So yeah, you're exactly right. It was tough to do, but glad to see that we're able to overcome it now and get back into that business.
Yeah.
What I'm looking forward to is when we've had our discussions about how do you plan a bin setup, how do you plan dryer capacity and size match, and same thing with start to finish, get the corn, whatever crop it is, out of your truck into the bin to be able to get it back in your truck to get it to its final destination. The Sukup team's done a really good job of making sure that that flows as best as we can with the space available. I doubt there's going to be any other method of you guys and your team on the steel building side to where you're going to be extremely diligent about, have you thought of this? I know it's going to happen. You've been doing it with Rachel for 2 days.
That's right. Yeah, she's been a challenge for sure, right? I mean, I can't believe what you guys probably went through at some of the nights. It seemed like, wow, come back. And she said the hardest thing was between the centimeters to figure out centimeters and feet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I
I got that updated though, so we are not working in centimeters anymore. We are working in feet. which is
Boy.
helpful. But yes, I think it's very interesting just to hear the different pieces that go into a building like this. They were giving me all kinds of pointers of what they've done in their homes, and I said this is a shop first, and then it's a house. So adding that kind of factor in there, I think, is cool.
But there's been discussions, whether it's in the grain marketing discussion group or it's just been on X or it's been in the DMs or comment sections of other videos, to where farmers take a lot of pride in how they planned for their shop, and most of them say they do something different
Yeah.
once they've got it built.
The debates are great too. In-floor heat, you go radiant heat, you
Yeah.
go how high do you go, all that stuff, and people get up in arms about it.
Yep.
It's like it's someone else's shop, man.
So for our audience, what do you think are some things they should start considering before they even
I should write
go
these down.
go to a blueprint with a free program?
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. And that's, honestly, you got to put some thought into the future, right, of where your farm's at. The last thing you want to do is put a door in that's maybe a little bit, it might get by today, right? But tomorrow when I go out and I get that AF11 and try to bring that one back into the farm, and all of a sudden, hey, I can't fit through my door, right? Or, I had a 12-row head, I went to a 16-row head. Well, now I've got to unhook the head to get the combine into the building. So those are all things that I would definitely consider as you move forward with a building design, right? Is what's that future farm going to look like? What are we all going to be doing with it? Maybe we want to, get into some livestock and put some livestock on one end of something too,
Yeah.
right? Or have a place where
A multi-use farm.
exactly.
You could actually store grain in one of these.
You could.
I'm actually thinking all-in-one farm inside shop with house with cattle barn.
You are.
with-
You're gonna
50,000
be-
bushel of storage in one side.
You're going to be 200 by 700.
Yeah.
You're gonna
You
have-
are going to be living with the rats.
What's the biggest I can? I'm just kidding.
Well, we can go 500 feet and plus, so it's. This.
I heard
sky's the
Randy's
limit.
paying for it, so.
Well, well, I didn't hear that, so.
He said he'd try, but didn't say the check would clear, right?
Oh,
That's right.
shucks.
That is interesting because, Corey, what did you, me, Dave, and AJ all tell Rachel within seconds of each other about size?
Always go bigger. Bigger
Always
is
go
better.
bigger.
They
Yeah.
did say
well,
that.
and you were trying to be economical with it, but from what I heard you talk, like this is going to be like your pretty much forever home, right?
I think so.
So you cannot half-ass it.
Right.
You cannot.
Right. No, you're
It's-
exactly right. And I tell you what, I've never been at a show where somebody's put up a building, a grain site, a dryer, and they've come in and told us, gosh, I wish I would have built that smaller.
Yeah.
That's never come out of anybody's mouth ever.
Yeah.
So it's always, I
Yeah.
wish I would have built it bigger.
And it's going on your ground. So it's not like I don't like this one, I'm just going to go build a bigger one. You're not going to sell it,
Yeah.
right? And go
All
get a bigger one.
valid points.
Yeah.
All valid.
It makes you wonder, is there a multiple? I love the thought of, all right, so if you think this is what you should charge, you should multiply that and get a 20% margin on top of your charge.
Yeah, it's like flooring. You always order 10% more or whatever. Yeah.
So is there, I wonder if there's our audience will give us feedback on this of, if you go with X square footage, you should multiply that by 125% just to be safe, or 150. That sounds like a lot, but
Yeah.
because you don't know. Sometimes you can't plan for what you don't know.
You can't. I bet, Corey, I don't know, I'm sure you got a farm shop.
Oh, yeah.
Do you wish it was bigger?
100%. Now, ours was built in 1993, so my grandpa built it. It's a Morton building,
Yep.
but was pretty big for its time. Now we still service out of it, but the door's tiny. We can only get it, it's only 20-foot door and all that. So yes, we would like it to be bigger, but I'm not complaining about what my grandpa did, because it's a really nice shop.
Yep.
Yep.
No, I built one too,
Yep.
and now it's like, I would have been twice as big. I would have been better off,
Yeah.
right? But at the time, it
Well,
served the purpose.
And I'm sure this is going to be your garage too, Rachel? Shop and garage?
Yes.
So, like, you don't have any kids yet. You just got married. You're not really – you got two vehicles, right? That's what you think. I need a two-car garage. Maybe third just for a space. Well, no, it's not big enough. Like
You
once,
threw in the lawnmower yesterday. You were
Right.
like, you got the lawnmower. and
golf
your-
cart,
yep.
Ranger, boat, all the cattle trailer, everything that you guys are going to have. And then sooner or later, Matt will have a midlife crisis and you're like a classic car or something.
Yeah,
and-
motorcycle.
I don't think he's
car
super into
lift.
those.
And so
I
you can
think
do your
he'd
own-
go buy another cow.
I thought having a normal house house with the 3-car garage was going to be ample. I'm like, all right, great. We got 16 years until my girls are going to be able to drive, and then they'll both be driving, so we can park one in the driveway and one in the garage. No, I can't get my pickup in.
And if you're like my
We have a
wife,
3-car garage with a 1-car in it.
there's just always a pile of cardboard boxes that somehow get there. And I'm like, every day, like
Oh, I
I get
think
rid of
I-
them. I'm like, where did this come from?
I think I know how they get there.
Yeah.
They probably say Prime on the side.
They do.
Yep.
So
I have the same problem,
you got to
Corey.
have
I
a
have
stall
whole-
just for that.
Happens to the best.
I have a whole bay gone in
a
the
whole
house.
stall for that? No, not necessary. Don't you have like a little cardboard cutter to like cut down?
I don't.
cardboard?
I have looked at those before. at
My
my
mom
work.
One of
got
those
us one for
smash it,
Christmas.
the ones that make
That'd be cool.
cardboard
Like a
bail.
baler.
No, this is just like a
I don't
little
know, but
tiny
You
hand.
got to take it one step further, and we're going to smash this
Cutter.
thing down, and he'll start
I'm
loading them on.
I'm primal. Get it? I like to burn them.
Yeah.
I go in the backyard and have a big fire, and the girls like it. And
That was a worst
Campfire starter, right?
Yeah,
Go out
right.
and do some marshmallows with it.
absolutely,
right?
yeah. Except the girls always want to do it
s'mores.
on the cardboard. Like, wait a minute, we're not gonna.
All right, I got to reel you both back in on this. We got to get back.
Was
in
it me?
So in consideration, you got to think about the future, and we all think probably bigger than what you originally assume is a safer assumption to go in that direction. You got your size figured out. What else should we be thinking about?
Logistics, right? Logistics on the farm. How am I getting in and out of the building, right? Where's the combine going to go? Where's the tractor going to go? Am I going to use some storage here? And how does that look? Do I have to move a bunch of things around to get to the planter in the spring, or do I set up the doors so that I can get that planter out right away, have it right next to a door? So logistics of how you're going to get in and out of that building. And then one thing I always tell people is, not all the sites are going to let you put everything on the south side, right? Most of the time you want your doors facing south,
Yep.
things like that. But in reality, that you might not be able to do that. So what's the next best? Do I want them on the west side? Do I want them on the east side so that, I can kind of keep some of that snow and things, especially if you're in a climate like I'm in. We get a lot of north winds with a lot of drifting of snow, and you want to make sure that you keep yourself from having some of those problems in the wintertime of being able to access and get into the doorways.
Yeah, when you said logistics, my mind immediately went to water. I feel like that's been a battle the last couple of years for us in Iowa is where's my water running off? What's it do for how do I get it away from my building? And that for me is logistics, because if it all runs this way and I got to get across that to my door,
Yep.
or like you said, snowdrift, I feel like we spend too much time managing water in Iowa.
Or even the water inside, like if you wash or whatever.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
that all the drains and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all logistics.
Yep.
So you think about that, Rachel. Where are you putting your in-floor drain?
You have tile taking it
You
away.
need-
Questions.
You need an in-floor drain in your living room, so you can just hose it.
Hose it
you just
down.
hose
Why
it.
would I need to hose down?
If a
my
kid
living room?
pukes, you just get the garden hose.
I
and
do
just-
like the polished concrete look.
Yeah.
Clean up.
Matt doesn't know if he's on board for that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But you brought up a good point.
I
'cause
almost wrote drains and living room down.
Yeah, you should.
some people, will put a wash bay, right? They haul trucks, right? Or cattle.
Yeah.
You're running down the salt roads in the wintertime. Nobody's going to put a trailer away and leave it sit there till spring to wash it off, right?
Yep.
Or if you do, you're going to have a rust bucket at the end.
Yep.
So a lot of guys are putting wash bays in. And then how do you get that water in and out? What do I do to seal that up inside so I don't have a condensation problem in the rest of the building?
That's probably another benefit of steel over wood is the rot.
That's exactly right. I mean, rot, termites, bugs, anything that can get into and destroy wood is with the steel building you don't have to worry about, right? There's nothing that's going to eat into the steel that I'm aware of.
Well, as
out
long as
there.
you're not hosing it down with like 32%.
Right, yeah. Keep the fertilizer away from it a little bit
Yeah.
and you'll be all right. So
Now, your guys' steel looks different than other buildings that I walk by. Why is that?
well, we're sometimes a little bit thicker on our gauges. I actually, on my steel building, it's a Sukup Steel Building. I had another outbuilding, and I had an insurance guy come by, and he had some hail, and he looked at both roofs, and he said, man, this building's obviously a lot better built because I don't see any dents up here.
Yeah.
The other one's all dented up, and, I had to replace it. But the Sukup Steel Building, because of that heavier thickness, and we do, when we do our corrugations on it, we're a little bit taller with our corrugations than some. So it makes that panel a lot heavier.
So that would be considered standing seam?
No, that's that's a roof option. Okay. But if you look at the corrugation or the profile in our literatures, you can see, like we do, I think it's an inch and a half maybe, is that right, on our...
I don't know. She's looking in centimeters.
Yeah. So
I didn't know how to change it, guys.
Yeah, so we do a little bit taller profile than what some do. So it's the ribs, right? The heights of the ribs. We're a little bit taller. So if you got an ag panel that you buy at Menards, is going to be a lot shorter. And that's not going to be near as strong as what a high rib from Sukup's, because we're going to be about a quarter to a half inch taller than that. So there's a lot of things that we do with the roll forming of the steel to get it to be heavier or more robust than just adding thickness to it.
That's how it's engineered.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
But you guys do have a standing seam option.
We do have a standing seam option. That's a great option. If you get 200-foot wide building, especially free span, we got a lot of thermal expansion and contraction out there. And when roofs move, you put screws in them. This even happens on wood frames. Sooner or later, that hole oblongs out, and then you've got a potential for a leak for water. Yep. With a standing seam roof, we've got clips that go onto the girts up there, or the purlins, and when that thermal expansion and contraction happen, there's slots in there so that whole roof will move simultaneously and not loosen anything up.
Yeah, and the wider you go, the lower your angle for roof is. So that you got ice that could potentially get in those holes that you're saying get oblong. Yeah. We have that on our building.
I didn't even know it was a thing until Corey told us about that. But the roof of the studio is standing seam.
Yeah.
He was pissed. He was like, let's just throw a roof on it for like $6,000. And I'm like, no, we're going to need to spend like $15,000 for a standing seam because it's almost a flat roof.
Yep.
So it's like ice and snow is going to sit there. And it's like, we've got way too much invested in equipment and remodel that we have to not leak.
Money well spent. Yeah. Money well spent.
And that's when we learned Sukup didn't make them at that time. And so we had to go somewhere else. And that was you know how hard it is to find
somebody that quality standing seam.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was tough.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right, Rachel, as you were going through your planning process, you had a whole bunch of people say, did you think of this? Did you think of this? What didn't you think of?
A whole lot of things. The garage door size was one of them that AJ was super into, of how wide the garage door needed to be, how many exterior doors I needed. I was talking about a house, so he was thinking about, where do you want to go out on your patio and grill closer to your kitchen? Where do you want to have your kitchen windows at? Do you want to see the sunrise? Do you want to see the sunset? How do you want to sit on your farm? All these things that I was like, whoa. I was just playing in a free app, guys. So, you guys were helping me the other night, and I feel like there was a lot of different things that I was thinking
then we started talking about shops, and, right now the building we're looking at, there's all kinds of different door types. Mm-hmm. A lot of farmers like to have a mezzanine to where they can have tool or storage above. They can have their shops above, their offices. They can have ways that they can, store their tools on the working floor. But door style matters, because when you have an overhead door like what we're looking at right now, you can't do anything else on that front wall.
No, you can't. No, you've got all the bracing and everything coming up. Now, you can, do a bifold door. There's some bifold doors out there that you can look at. Hydro doors that, just come out, and you can get them a lot wider that way too. So if you are talking about a 16-row combine head to get into the building, it's going to be pretty hard to do that with just a standard overhead door. You're going to have to probably go to something like a bifold or hydro door.
Those hydros allow you to use all of the height, right?
Yep.
Or maybe in a steel building you could get all the height or most of it with these roll-ups. But
you can. On the end walls you can. On the side walls, that gets a little trickier, right? You got to do some things, especially if we get them too wide. We got to get outside of taking up a couple of bays there. Then we've got to put some jack beams and things in there to kind of make that a little wider for people to get in. But on the end walls, you can do some things. And I know there's doors that'll go up and they'll kind of follow that building profile if you get the tracks right. So it'll make it a little easier. And then you can mount the openers and things on the side rather than up at the peak like a traditional door opener is.
Yeah, Rachel, that's what you need. Instead of having 3 12-foot garage doors, you just need one 40-foot hydro swing.
I was looking at it being 40 foot, the building wide.
No.
They told me I need to go way bigger.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
bad.
you'd have one entire wall be a door. You know, I've seen those kitchens with a roll-up window to the exterior, you
Ooh,
know,
I
right
do
above
like
the sink.
those.
You would just have a roll-up wall.
I could.
The whole 40 foot just opens up.
That
Now you
sounds
guys
a little bit more expensive.
aren't building the actual inside of this shouse, right? Like
No.
No.
It's
We're
just the
building
main
shell.
building
Yeah.
outside.
the
We
frame.
wanted a quality building to start with before we started adding walls on the inside.
Yeah,
then
we
you'll
don't want our listeners to think that we're going to start doing
Yes.
interior work
Yes.
inside of a
But
metal
if you
building.
need a designer, I am probably not your girl.
But
Harvest season is here, and so is your competitive advantage.
That's right. The Estes XPR3 concaves are a total game changer. Think one concave, all crops, no bands, no switching. From wheat to corn, soybeans, you're rolling non-stop. Backed by their patented technology with 250% more threshing surface, you get cleaner grain, fewer fines, and beast-level capacity, all without trading combines.
If you're interested, visit EstesPerformanceConcaves.com to upgrade your combine today. Estes XPR3, harvest smarter, faster, and better.
Go ahead.
no, one thing I was going to bring up is lighting. That's the other thing that people probably should consider when putting up a steel building or any building, right? But what I've seen a lot of people trying to utilize natural lighting. So even putting windows up, like in the taller, in that, if they've got 20-foot tall sidewalls, maybe put some windows at that 16-foot height along there. So when you come in, you don't always have to turn the lights on every time you walk into the building. You can get some natural light in there. So that's something else to consider as you're looking at building something is, what am I going to do for lighting?
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking of, which we struggle a little bit with at the studio, is insulation
Yeah.
and sound deadening.
Yep.
We have a studio. That's kind of important.
That's really important. So we've got a lot of different options for, pinch insulation is pretty popular. It's pretty economical. We've got what we call a saver system insulation. So that's where we fill the cavity with fiberglass and then do a pinched over top of it on the ceiling. And then what's really popular in sound deadening is spray foam. A lot of guys are going to either open or closed cell type spray foams that they're putting in. The one thing you got to consider doing that is making sure you don't get some of those open-celled spray foams stuck right to your sheet steel, because they will hold water in some of those open cells and they'll start to rust from the inside out.
Yep.
So if you can put a barrier, a vapor barrier of some sort over that and put a spray foam on, you're going to be a lot better off.
Yeah. Just because there's water there doesn't mean it's leaking. It's just
Right.
condensation.
Exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, it is an interesting consideration because, in Rachel's case for a shouse, we got to be able to do things in the garage without it bothering you inside, noise-wise.
Probably. Yeah.
Or if you're being too loud in the house, he doesn't want to hear about you when he's in the garage. But then for us on the studio side of things, you don't realize until you are in it, even rain.
Yeah.
Oh, it is loud when it rains,
Very
even with spray foam in our ceiling. So we're trying to figure out some ways to deaden that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all definitely good things to consider when looking at a building, and how do you, what are you going to use for materials to deaden those sounds? And the other thing is ventilation, right? You brought up some points of you're probably going to have some exhaust running at times. So how am I going to separate that out from the rest of the building and keep that ventilation and keep that smoke smell outside rather than inside my new house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had I shouldn't say we, I'll say I. I've had a dream sponsor partner that I've wanted to get on the podcast, and that's those guys that make the big-ass fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are so cool for how slow they can move and how much air they move at the same time.
There's a bunch of those, I think, up at Sukup's warehouse, or ones that look like it anyway.
Yeah, and I've been in some barns where we've put up some buildings for cattle, for just show arenas for state fairs, or not state, but county fairs.
Yep.
And they put those fans in there just to kind of keep that air circulating so the cattle and the pigs don't get overheated during the day, because there's usually a lot of traffic in and out of those buildings.
Yep. Yeah, they move a lot of air.
It is fun to sit back, and all I've been doing since we hit record on this episode is think about the shop that I'll probably not get for many, many years to work in. But having that ability to section it off. We've had the pleasure of hosting our after parties at Farm Progress Show and have two great partners with two very nice shops that
Very nice.
that one extremely well planned out from the beginning, and the other that has been planned out but expanded, and growth has driven new needs and new uses for a space.
Yep.
So you can make it work if you didn't plan far enough ahead.
You can add on. You're saying.
Because we haven't even talked about having like an office space or living quarters that are a lean-to the structure.
Yeah.
Outside of it, changing the
I didn't
footprint
think of that.
to where you've got a rectangle or a square, but then you add an extra 12 feet via lean-to or something along those lines.
You can certainly do that. Now, what I'll say with that is it'd be better to plan some of that up front that you're going to need those needs because ultimately those spaces that you usually typically add on to a building are more cost per foot than the initial building. So if you're thinking, hey, I'd like to have something, a little bit outside. I want an office out here. Maybe just throw another bay on the building. And then you've got a place for your mezzanine and already built into it. So those are all things definitely to consider. But certainly after the fact, there's a lot of buildings that people put up and they come back and said, hey, we want to lean to off to the side of this thing. What can you do for that? And there's certainly ways to do that every time.
Well, we know that not everyone has an unlimited budget like Rachel, so to do it all the first time. So, it's nice to know you can do that.
Yep.
Because sometimes, it costs more per foot, but didn't have the money or couldn't get the loan or whatever, something like that. So
exactly.
Yep.
All
I
right.
think you made up my unlimited budget.
Now, what I think Rachel's been waiting for, I know what she's been talking about for the last 2 hours, has been color options.
Yes, we've got a very narrow but a lot of different color options that we can kind of choose from. Anything from white to black. I know one of Rachel's favorites is the red. We were looking at doing some accents, and that's the other thing. People can do some different things. You don't have to stick to two colors or one color. We've got a lot of buildings where people will put an accent trim on and just do a charcoal gray and a black and then put a little red stripe in there to kind of just offset things, right? Just here's something that makes it just pop when you're driving down the road and you see that building, right?
Randy's really for the red stripe. I was more for just like a plain black building. Or
All
adding,
black?
Well, yeah, I just thought that'd be kind of cool. But they have persuaded me to maybe do like a black. What would you call the base part?
Wainscot or
Wainscot, yeah.
That wainscot. Okay, so
I think an all black building would be hot, not
well,
cool.
yeah, so that's why they persuaded me not to do that. Plus, maybe some ash gray in here. But I'm not sold on the pinstripe of the red. They don't have pink as an option either, in case you needed to know that.
you could always go by afterwards and just run a little line of whatever color you want with a paintbrush.
You could do that too.
Sharpie?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
That too.
Get a pink Sharpie and just walk down the ash gray.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of nice color options here. I think if you have buildings on your property already, you can match a lot of them. I was talking about how maybe some of our white buildings are a little bit dirtier, so that's why we were going to go with the ash gray, kind of blend that together.
Make it start off looking dirty.
No, it's a nice color. Look at that.
It is very nice color.
So the building we're in is, what did we say, light stone?
Light stone and a forest green, I believe, is what we've got here at Husker Harvest Days.
Isn't that so? It's not a Sukup green. It's forest green.
It's forest green.
No, it's
yeah.
fern green, actually.
Fern green. Okay.
Fern
All right.
green. But
Should offer a Sukup green.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
be cool.
We'll have to take that one back to management and see what we can get done there.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That'd be
like
great.
But yeah, lots of color options. But that's probably the least of the things you need to think about when you're building the
A
building.
lot more important choices.
There's a lot more important features I've learned.
So is every dealer set up to install a building like this? Because obviously it's different than building a bin.
Right. Every dealer has probably the accessibility to be able to get you a building purchased. Now, not all the dealers are going to be able to build them. They may subcontract that out or have a local contractor do that work for them, but they would have the ability to at least get you a quote on a building in most cases.
Good.
Yeah, I was wondering that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine they have the stuff, but some of them, like, they're so far out on bins, like, are they going to stop for a building?
that is always a concern, whether, how many of them are going to really push the steel buildings. If they're filled up with the bin schedule, they, but our TMs do a really nice job. Our territory reps will do a nice job that, trying to find people. If you find us at the show, they're going to probably contact one of our dealers. And if they don't want to have anything to do with the building, they'll find somebody else that we can still get you a quote on one.
Well, that's what's nice about steel and being engineered is, like, everything's punched and cut for you already. It's just like, I mean, Tanner and I could probably do, it might take us a long time, but we could, if we had a lift, we could probably put one of these up and follow the instructions.
Right. Yeah. You probably can.
We would probably still have pieces left over in the end.
Yeah. Where did this beam go?
That always happens to me when I try to follow instructions and put something together. It's like, why do I still have 4 bolts and 3 washers? And nothing ever makes sense. Like, I shouldn't have odd numbers of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's because they do it by pounds, probably.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just get them 100 pounds of bolts.
Yes.
Not
500. 700.
Right. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I did see the Denver Broncos have identified their ideal location for their new retractable roof stadium. I think Sukup needs retractable roof shops.
That might get outside of the scope of what our steel buildings are trying to accomplish. We might that's scope creep right there.
You ever think
never
for
know, with
Rachel's
drones?
indoor swimming pool?
Yeah.
On the one side?
I was thinking more like spray drones just could lift off right here. Like
Yeah, because we did.
helicopter.
We haven't shared with the audience that you also you want to run like 17 businesses out of your shouse.
Yes,
Not only
I
is it
keep
going to be a
adding
shop, a house,
businesses.
it's also going to have 6 business storefronts.
Yep.
I just think it'd be nice to just like have everything in one place.
I like how she's planning to leave and just have all her businesses there. She just wants to leave us and go to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them was a farm for profit studio.
I built an office in my floor plan for my duties of what I do here.
A walk-in cooler for her meat front.
I did put
business.
that in my floor plan.
I think the walk-in cooler is for her to cool off after we make her mad.
Yeah.
I don't get
Just need
mad
a minute.
that often.
Just need a minute to cool down.
I think it's okay. I think everybody is capable of asking for a minute when they need a minute.
Right.
That's an okay thing to do.
You can walk in the cooler if you want. Nobody will ask you.
I don't have a cooler yet.
Oh, we'll work on that. What else are we missing about buildings, Randy?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, just one other thing to look at is your man doors, how you're going to get in and out of the building, and where you want to place those. Most of those are going to be cut in the field, right? So we can put those in wherever. But it is nice to know that if you're going to we do have wind bracing and things, cabling that goes in the bin. So when you get those drawings back, look at where that wind bracing is, because it's going to be pretty hard to put a window or a man door, and then all of a sudden I've got cable bracing.
Yeah, you can't put a man door right there.
Right.
That doesn't work.
And putting a window right there, unless you want to look at that cable all day, obviously that's not going to work either. So that's something when you're looking at the plans for this steel building, something to consider.
Are you talking about that cable right there?
Yep. The X.
Yes, the X cable.
Yes, you can't put a window on that wall. Well, you can put a window on that wall, but you'd not probably want to put it in between those two posts.
Would those be inside my house then?
Yeah.
No. Well,
But
no,
they'd be
because you're going to
the
have
wall.
a carpenter come in and put walls
Yes,
in for
you're
your
gonna-
house.
But still, even if they framed in a wall there, you don't want to put a window where that cable
Right.
is.
Not where the cable is, unless you want to look through it. I mean, that's, I guess
This
it's
is
entirely
another
up to
layer
you.
you did not tell me about with my floor plan building the other day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go look at it now. Well, I wouldn't know where those cables are until we know the.
I can't wait until our listeners all the things that we forgot to consider. And that's what I want. I want to engage you, because if we can build a comprehensive way for people in the future when they go to build their shops to make less mistakes or have less regrets, I think that'd be a great farm for profit thing to do. So if you made a mistake, what was that? What did you do in your farm shop that you would never do again or wished you could have done? Because I think that'd just be valuable for everybody.
Especially for me.
Especially for Rachel. Yeah, you can send all of those ideas and suggestions to Rachel at. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Farm
Randy,
for
how
profit.
excited are you to build a building for me? 1 out of 10. Like, what's the excitement level?
Probably like, an 8.
What? I was thinking you were gonna say like a 12, like out of this world excited.
Eight's pretty good.
Eight's pretty high on my scale.
I was just
really,
saying,
but
I was impressed with the 8.
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah, because I know how you work.
What does that mean?
He's saying I should have
got to
probably
tell
said
the
5.
audience that I really appreciate them listening to this podcast. And this discussion's been fun. Randy, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for hosting the Farm for Profit crew at all your trade shows.
Yeah.
And kind of making us a part of the family. And I think that's another thing that we don't want to overlook when considering a building. The quality of service that you get, the family reputation, and the desire to make things right throughout an entire process. And so hopefully someday down the future, we all have Sukup buildings on our farms.
Yeah.
That we can use as discussion pieces as well. But you got any more questions for him, Corey?
I don't. I'm ready to build a building.
Rachel, got any more questions for him? Good, thanks.
No, hey, pleasure, guys. Certainly appreciate you having me on again today. So thank you.
All right, listeners. Until next time, have a good one.
Farm for Profit Podcast.